Welcome back to part 2 of this APA citation style tutorial. We left off talking about and looking at an example of direct quotes, and now paraphrase. Let's say I wanted to not use the direct words of Rokacs, but I wanted to get the general idea. So I might paraphrase or rewrite, but still express the ideas of Rokacs by saying, many homeless experience isolation in part due to suffering from abuse or neglect during their childhood. But I still put the last name and the year of the source. I don't need a page number because I'm just paraphrasing. Here are a few more examples of in-text citations that engage direct quotes. According to Jones, 1998, quote, APA style is a difficult citation format for first-time learners, end quote, found on page 199. So again, last name, year of source, page number. The researcher explained, so I won't go through each one of these, but you can see another way of representing this information is last name, year, and page number at the end of a sentence. And finally, let's say we don't have a page number, but we want to directly cite, or we're concerned about really citing this carefully. We can say Jones, 1998, found in paragraphs 4 to 5. So you might have some weird sources that come up. Maybe you want to cite a tweet that somebody posted. How do you do that? Well, you can always ask a librarian, look or look at the library guide for APA citation style. There's a particular button that says, how do I cite? And you can select that, scroll down, and click on something like social media, or government documents, or journal article, or when information is missing. So do some research, figure out how to cite your sources properly, and do the best that you can. Let's switch gears for a second and talk about how to incorporate your sources best into writing, because it is not hard to be clumsy about incorporating your sources. So I say first, avoid the mic drop. When you're writing a paper or a speech, don't just drop in the quote and leave. Don't end a paragraph with a quote or a paraphrase. Include your own words after the quote or paraphrase so that I can better understand it. There's also the drop and jump. These are my own terms. Students provide a quote and then jump immediately to the next thing without tying it to the next paragraph or the current paragraph or reminding us what that has to do with our main argument. So here's an example of the mic drop. It says, caretakers should understand possible health risks for children who show signs of having autism. Then there's a direct quote about children with autism that just ends abruptly with the citation, which is beautifully done, but then it just goes on to another warning sign of autism. And that's very jarring for your reader because there's no explanation of this complex direct quote, and there's no tie to the overarching argument. Instead, you can try leading into a quote. According to Deeb in 2022, APA style is super important. Or researchers generally agree that APA style is really important. And then you have the last name and the year of each source, in turn separated by semicolons. And always explain what a quote or paraphrase means in your own words. So you could say something like, in other words, or what this scientist quote really explains the gravity of the problem or how widespread this problem really is. So always do that work to follow up, end a paragraph with the key ideas we're supposed to take away from your quote to really understand it. So here's a better example of the item I showed you on the previous page. We're still talking about the same thing, that caretakers should understand possible health risks for children who show signs of having autism. For example, and I give my direct quote, it's beautifully cited, and then I explain, as a result of this pickiness, autistic children may eat less and therefore may be at greater risk for nutritional and health problems. All right, and then you see I've given you that bookend to my thought, and now I'm ready to move into the next main point. If you're not sure about whether you need to put in an in-text citation or not, I always say oversight when in doubt. You don't want to undercite and accidentally plagiarize. So you might have a long paragraph that uses the same source multiple times. Well, one way you can deal with that is to bookend a paragraph. So start the paragraph by telling us what source you're referencing and end the paragraph with the same source that you're referencing with an in-text citation. But be careful that you're not depending on one source too much. If you're citing the same source over and over and over again, it might be time to add some variety to your sources. To help you better write, look at examples of sources and citations that have been incorporated into papers on reputable citation style sites. So download some sample papers and see what their sources and citations look like, both within the text and also on the references page. And as I alluded to before, be careful with citation generation tools. If you must use them, make sure you evaluate what they actually churn out to make sure that they're accurate. So a final parting thought, I know it's over or almost over. OWL-Purdue in 2022 stated that while the APA manual provides examples of how to cite common types of sources, it does not cover all conceivable sources. If you must cite a source that APA does not address, the APA suggests finding an example that is similar to your source and using that format. So the takeaway here is it's important that your in-text citation direct us to the reference on the references page, and do your best to mimic already solid examples of APA citation style when it comes to citing your own work. Good luck, everybody, and as a parting thought, I leave you with my own references page to give credit to OWL-Purdue, which gave me a lot of the examples on proper APA citation previously in this presentation. Happy citing! Bye-bye for now.